got quite a reception here, but there is quite a group of people who don't sort of approve of the thing you do. They seem to think that it contributes to juvenile delinquency and all sorts of things. Given any thoughts to the unpopular side of your audience?
Yes, sir, I have. I've tried to figure it out. I don't see how they could think that it would contribute to juvenile delinquency. Someone solely singing and dancing. I don't see that, because if there's anything I've tried to do, I've tried to live a straight, clean life and not set any kind of a bad example. I will say that there are people that are going to like you and people that don't like you, regardless of what business you're in or what you do. You cannot please everyone.
Do you feel that rock and roll, the popularity of rock and roll, will diminish in any way while you're in the Army?
That's hard to tell. The only thing I can say is I hope not.
Is it a relief to get away from all the autograph hounds and the hysterical females?
Sir, it is not. But once you get used to it, if nobody comes up and asks for an autograph, or if no one bothers you, well then you...
The only girl you know well who saw you off the court?
No, ma'am, there was quite a few others down there. I beg your pardon?
There's some here to say
I don't know. I haven't seen any. Well, it's, you know, school's going on. I beg your pardon, ma'am?
You have a rougher time than most soldiers because you're a celebrity?
No, ma'am. Everything was just straight down the middle. I was treated no better or any worse than any of the other boys.
What about
that's the way I wanted it, because I had to live with the other boys, you know?
Well, not by the Army. I mean by the other boys. Did the boys treat you roughly?
Oh, no, sir. Not at all. I kind of expected, because even out in civilian life, I get harassed a little bit by a few people, you know? And I was expecting them there, but when those guys looked around and they saw me pulling KP and marching with a pack on my back and everything, well, they figured, well, he's just like we are, so I got along very well with them, and they're all a good bunch of boys.
Have the other GIs a nickname they have given you?
Quite a few.
Elvis, what's your idea of the ideal girl?
Female, sir. No, sir, I really don't know. I like a lot of different types. I suppose I'll know if I ever find someone that I really, you know, I'll really fall in love with.
If you found someone while you were in service that you felt you were in love with, would you get married in service?
I don't think so, sir. Because the way I look at it, if you find someone you're in love with and she's in love with you, she will understand about my career, and she will, actually, she wouldn't want to do anything to hurt it. So she wouldn't rush me.
Do you think you could ever be satisfied with a girl that was also in show business?
Oh, well, sir, actually, I don't think that would make much difference, whether she's in show business or driving a truck.
I think a lot of young people are interested in your views on marriage. You were mentioning, you know, earlier on.
I, do solemnly swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the United States of America. Congratulations, you are now in the Army. You're all privates. That's the way you will be addressed from now on. Private Presley, you'll be in charge of the group.
As you're growing up, a lot of times you think you're in love with someone, you want to get married. And then later on in your life, you find out you were wrong. That actually you didn't love them, you only thought you did. And I was no different. Several times as I was growing up, I would have probably married had my mother and dad talked to me and told me, you'd better wait and find out if this is what you want. And I did, and I'm glad that I did.
When was the last time you thought you were in love?
Oh, how many times, ma'am? I don't know. I suppose the closest that I ever came to getting married was just before I started singing. In fact, my first record saved my neck. My favorite song is a song called Padre. Are you familiar with it, by Tony Arden? And also You'll Never Walk Alone was always one of my very favorites.
Elvis, did you think your high school ROTC did you any good in the Army?
Yes, ma'am, it definitely did. I knew my left leg from my right one. It helped quite a bit.
Did that cover guard that you outfitted at Hewens High School in Memphis give you any going away presents?
Yes, ma'am, they gave me an old musket. One of the old rifles, you know, you had to pack the powder in the end of it. They gave me, yes. I think it was the Civil War.
Your family's been here a long time. Were any of your ancestors in the Civil War or the Revolutionary War?
Let me see. On which side? Let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, time has run out.
We've now moved down into the library of the USS Randall, and we are now only minutes away from sailing time. And Elvis Presley will shortly be on his way to Germany, and a return to the United States, well, who knows? It'll be some time anyway. Elvis, we have just a small group and a few moments to talk about things. I know you're a pretty tired fella. You've had a busy couple of days getting here to the Brooklyn port and getting ready to leave, haven't you?
Yes, sir, that's right.
Well, how long has it been, for example, since you've had a chance to eat today?
Well, I ate breakfast this morning and haven't eaten since. Of course,
It's almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I don't feel like that I could eat anything right now.
The older people, and I might lose something else. So, therefore, you just have to let time take care of itself.
And I take it you are not planning to change your style?
I'd be foolish to change my style unless I was told to do so by the public themselves. In other words, if I just took it on my own and said, well, I'm going to change my style, I think I'd be making a bad mistake. If the people become disinterested in you or they get tired of whatever you're doing, they'll let you know.
Earlier, Elvis, you mentioned the movie G.I. Blues that you'll be doing soon. When do you do the film?
Well, I can't give you an official date. I think it's after the Sinatra show, which is sometime around the 1st of May.
And who'll be in it?
I don't think they've picked a co-star yet.
Mm-hmm.
Not to my knowledge, they haven't.
Do you know what part you'll play?
No, I don't. I haven't seen the script yet.
Oh, I see. So you then perhaps have not had an opportunity to contribute any of your own ideas.
No, not yet.
Are the cameras rolling, sir? You would just like me to say... Well, thank you very much. I would just like to say, ladies and gentlemen, that it's really a privilege to be in Europe. It's something that I've looked forward to for some time. And I consider it a privilege to be assigned to such a fine outfit as the 3rd Armored Division. And I hope that I can live up to everybody's expectations of me, and I will do my very best to. I only regret that I can't do some shows and different things while I'm here, but I will be looking forward when my Army hitch is over. I would like very much to come back on a regular tour of Europe. Very surprised at the reception. I wasn't expecting anything quite that big, and I only regret that I didn't have more time to stay there with them. But maybe someday I can come back when my Army tour is up as an entertainer, and then I'll have more time, and maybe I'll have an opportunity to kind of make myself at home over here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Presley, and we wish you a pleasant stay in Germany.
Thank you very much. Arrivederci. Oh, that's Italian.
Elvis, are you perhaps planning a European tour sometime in 60 or 61?
Oh, yes. I don't think it'll be 60. Maybe in 61. I'm not saying yes or no. A lot of people say, you know. And that's something staring me in the face the rest of my life that I always would regret, you know.
You would rather be out in the field with the boys than perhaps entertaining in a service club somewhere.
Oh, yeah, sure. I was in a funny position. Actually, that's the only way it could be. People were expecting me to mess up, to goof up in one way or another. They thought I couldn't take it and so forth, and I was determined to go to any limits to prove otherwise. Not only to the people who were wondering, but to myself.
You turned out to be one of America's finest soldiers, Elvis Presley.
Thank you.
Hello, Elvis.
Hello. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here, sir. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, sir.
Elvis.
Sir, I don't think they want me to say anything right now, sir. I'm sorry.
Mr. Presley, your flowers.
Flowers are where, ma'am? I better not, sir, really. This ring? You have my ring? Okay. Honey.
The stage is being cleared of photographers. Elvis is being flanked by two MPs to ensure his safety this morning. Elvis is posing for pictures now with Nancy Sinatra, Frank Sinatra's daughter, and Nancy is about to present. Interesting side note here, Nancy posing with Elvis Presley. Just yesterday it was announced that Miss Sinatra has become engaged to another rock and roller, Tommy Sands. Ladies and gentlemen, we managed to corner Elvis Presley.
Elvis, do you feel that you're a little old for the teenagers now?
That's the first time I've been asked that one. I don't know. I don't feel too old. I can still move around pretty good.
Are you apprehensive about what must be a comeback?
Yes, I am. I mean, I have my doubts. You know, I'm not gonna commit myself in saying that I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do that because I don't know actually. The only thing I can say is that I'm gonna try. I'll be in there fighting.
Now that you're about to be discharged from the Army, Elvis, have 2 years of sobering Army life changed your mind about rock and roll?
Sobering Army life? No, it hasn't. It hasn't changed my mind because I was in tanks for a long time, you see. And they rock and roll quite a bit.
In the interview that you were the sexiest man she'd ever seen. What's your reaction to that?
Are we on television?
Yes.
It helped in both my career and my personal life because I've learned a lot. I made a lot of friends that I never would have made otherwise. And I've had a lot of good experiences and some bad ones, actually. It's good to rough it, to put yourself to a test, to see if you can take it, see if you can stand up on it.
Another thing we hear a lot about in the Army, especially here, is that we are not only soldiers, but goodwill ambassadors.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well, that definitely stands to reason because we are in a foreign country and what we do here will reflect on America and our way of life.
I mean, if somebody can come up and make it, well, more power to them. Because I'm only glad of the success that I have had, you know. And I couldn't be envious of some other young or new guy that's trying to make it too. Because as the old saying goes, I've been down that road before. Because I have 3 pictures in a row to do, you know. I hope there won't be a rock and roll picture because I've made 4 already. You can only get away with that for so long. You know. I'm thinking in terms of, I'd like to do a little more of a serious role, you know, because my ambition is to progress as an actor, you know, which takes a long time, a lot of experience. And you can't...
Girls, Taylor DeMarc.
They're both females, so that's all I have. No, sir, I beg your pardon. I believe I met one Russian girl. Pretty shapely, I mean.
You feel you might be a little old now for some of the teenagers. You're 25 now.
Do I feel I'm a little old for
Some of the teenagers.
Right, how do you feel about that?
Well, the generations that you're talking about, as far as I'm concerned, were just was something natural. I mean, That's just my way of expressing a song. I can't help it. If it wasn't for them, I'd have to re-up in the Army, sir, I'll tell you.
Elvis, there's a report that you like the Army so much that you wanted to write a book about it. Did you ever think of re-enlisting?
No, sir, I never thought of I never thought of re-enlisting.
The audience this morning is Nancy Sinatra. Miss Sinatra, how are you?
Just fine, thanks.
How do you feel about Elvis's homecoming?
It's very exciting. I've really never seen anything like this before. I've never been to an Army base before anyway. Terrific.
Not a very nice place.
And my father couldn't be here, so that's why I'm here.
Very good. Well, it's nice to have you here this morning. I just read in the news where you became engaged. Congratulations. Any dates there for the wedding?
No, not yet. We haven't discussed it yet.
All right. Thank you very much. Nancy Sinatra. Elvis, if I may ask you just a few questions. First of all, would you like to spend more time in the Army?
Would I like to spend more time in the Army? Like I said, I was anxious to get back to show business. I can only answer that by saying that I'm glad I served the 2 years, and it worked out as well as it did. But I'm very happy to get back into what I was doing.
There's a rumor floating around, Elvis, that you intend to get married soon. Is that true?
No, sir. I don't expect to be a bachelor, sir. I think it's all according to the individual when they want to get married. I'll know when I want to.
In other words, it's just a rumor and you haven't set a date.
I haven't set a date. I haven't found anyone yet that I want to marry. But when I do, it doesn't make a difference if I'm 25 or 45 or 70.
Very good. What do you think the Army has done for you, Elvis?
I think that I have a little better understanding of life. I made a lot of friends, like I said. I just think it's been a big help in many ways.
Do you have any immediate plans?
For a while, and then I'll be making some records. And then I'll be doing the television show with Frank Sinatra for ABC. And then the picture G.I. Blues for Mr. Wallace, and then after that, I think 2 pictures for 20th Century Fox.
When things are going my way, he said to me, I will comfort thee and drive your cares away. He promised me I will walk with you and drive your cares away. I did not ask for riches. He gave me wealth untold. The moon, the stars, the sun, the sky.
Okay, we're going to start. This is not part of the questioning, but did you get the black-eyed peas when you got home?
I haven't eaten anything yet.
Haven't eaten anything?
No. I've just been looking around more or less since I've been back.
Now, to get down to the serious side of it, Elvis, now that the Army's part of the past, can you give us in detail some of your future plans?
Well, the first thing I have to do is to cut some records. And then after that, I have the television show with Frank Sinatra. And then I have the picture with Mr. Wallace. And then after that, I have 2 for 20th Century Fox. And after that, heaven knows, I don't. I suppose it'll keep me busy the rest of this year, you know. After that, I don't know.
Well, Elvis, now you're really home. How does it feel?
It's pretty hard to describe, I'll tell you. It's hard to get used to, you know. I mean, I've been looking forward to it for 2 years, and all of a sudden, here it is. It's not easy to adjust to it.
Now that you are back, as you look back on your 2 years in the service, what was the most important thing that happened to you during your 2 years, whether it was overseas or here in the States?
Well, there were a number of things that happened. Had quite a few interesting experiences. Slept out in the snow. HC rations, you know, all the regular thing. But I suppose the biggest thing of all is the fact that I did make it. I made it just like everybody. I mean, I tried to play it straight, you know, like everybody else. And I made a lot of friends that I never would have made otherwise. And all in all, it's been a pretty good experience, you know.
Elvis, you still have time to serve now for Uncle Sam. Have you given any thought as to where you're going to serve your reserve training?
Well, sir, I will be on the reserve status here in Memphis at the Reserve Center here. But they have a clause which covers people with traveling jobs. If you have a traveling job or if you live too far away from your reserve center, they put you on standby. Whereas you don't have to make their meetings, but you are subject to be called in any emergency or anything of that nature.
Elvis, one of your future commitments, as you mentioned, is the Frank Sinatra show on the ABC television network. Do you have any idea of when this will be aired?
Now, I really don't know the exact date. I would imagine it's somewhere around the 1st of May.
If you'll forgive me, I have one other part to my question. We understand, speaking of Frank Sinatra, that there has been some rumor about Nancy Sinatra and yourself. Is there a romance in the making here?
No, sir, I'm afraid not. I only met her in Fort Dix. And she gave me a gift from Frank. And it was very brief. I think she's engaged to Tommy Sands. I don't think he would appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Elvis, do you think the music has changed since you've been out of the service? I mean, since you've been in the service?
Possibly, yes. I can't say, really. I haven't been here long enough to even know. Excuse me. The only thing I can say is that if it has changed, well, I would be foolish not to try to change with it, you know. But as of now, I have no reason to change anything.
As to your acting, you have stated you would like to be a more serious actor. And do you plan to possibly go to some school or some dramatic school?
Well, it wouldn't hurt me any to go to school, but I learn best by experience. I never was very good in schools of any kind. And it's going to take me a long time and a lot of experience.
But that is your ultimate ambition?
But as at the present time, it really is. That's what I want to do.
Elvis, you were asked about Nancy Sinatra. How about any romance? Did you leave any heart, shall we say, in Germany?
Not any special one. There was a little girl that I was seeing quite often over there that her father was in the Air Force, and actually they only got over there about 2 months before I left. I was seeing her, and she was at the airport when I left, and there were some pictures made of her, but it was no big romance. I mean, the stories came out, the girl he left behind, and, and all that. It wasn't like that. I mean, I had to be careful when I answer a question like that.
Elvis, in your service life, which did you find the most difficult, when you went into basic training, or when you got over into Germany, over with the experienced soldiers? Which gave you the hardest time?
Well, basic training wasn't hard for me at all. It was harder afterwards, after I had gotten into a regular outfit. Not the service itself, but just the surroundings, and I was in a strange land, and the outfit I was in, they had quite a bit of field duty. We stayed in the field 6 months out of the year. And it gets cold in Germany. It snows quite a bit. And it was pretty hard to adjust to.
One thing further on that, do you have any advice for the boys your age who are now going to have to put in a certain amount of duty in the service?
Well, the only thing I can say is to play it straight and to do your best, because you can't fight them. They've never lost yet, you know? And you can't fight them. So you can make it easy or you can make it hard on yourself. I mean, if you play it straight, get the people on your side, let them know you're trying, you as the Army would say, you've got it made. And if you're going to try to be an individual or try to be different, you're going to go through 2 years of misery.
Elvis, when do you think you'll record again? And when you do you think you'll lean toward the ballad-type music or the more upbeat sounds?
Well, as far as when I'll record, I really don't know. Possibly this week or next week. And what I'll record, I don't know yet. I've got quite a few songs to choose from. I've collected over the 2 years, but I don't know exactly what type or what instruments I'll use, whether it be the Firestone Orchestra or Monty Vonnie or what. I really don't know yet. Shoot.
Well, you said that at the train that you wanted to get back to what you were doing, and of course that is singing and entertaining. And I take it from that you really enjoy what you're doing, or what you were doing before you went to service.
Oh yes, I do. In fact, that was the hardest part of the entire military service. Was being away from it.
Being away from the fans and
just being away from show business altogether. That was the hardest part of all. It wasn't the Army, it wasn't the other men. It was that. It stayed on my mind. I kept thinking about the past all the time, contemplating the future, and
Elvis,
that was the hardest part.
We know your family status has changed since you went into service. Are you going to keep Graceland? Do you have plans of moving away from Memphis, or what?
No, sir, I have no plans for leaving Memphis.
And you're going to keep Graceland?
I'm going to keep Graceland as long as I possibly can.
Well, was this Christmas tree a surprise?
Well, since it's March, it's a little surprise. That's the tree we used in 1957.
We can leave the Christmas tree long enough. About your tonsils and the tonsillectomy that you were contemplating while you were in the service, did you deliberately ask that it be held off until you could get to the United States and the local doctor?
No, sir.
Or did they improve that much?
I didn't ask that. They don't like to perform surgery of any kind in Europe. They don't like to. If it's an emergency, they will. But I took penicillin and wonder drugs or whatever they call it.
You had no recurrence, huh?
I had 2 attacks of tonsillitis when I was there.
Elvis, did you like the food over there outside of the Army when you would go out? You know, did you like that type of food?
I never went out, Charlie.
You never ate out in a restaurant?
I never ate in a restaurant the entire time I was in Germany. It's funny. I either ate in the mess hall or at home, one of the two. I never, in fact, I never went anywhere while I was in Europe except to Paris. I went to Paris and on a leave, and that was all.
Now, how did the fans respond to you over there as compared to here in the States?
Well, it's a pretty difficult question to answer because anything I'll say, it might sound a little like I'm bragging, you know? But it was pretty much the same there as here.
They had seen a lot of your movies.
And the records and so forth. I'd like to go back on a tour over there someday, all of Europe. Because the only thing they know about me is what they've read, records and the movies and so forth.
Elvis, this is not in the form of a question, but I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you home for everybody in Memphis and the South.
Well, thank you. You'll never know how happy I am to be here. Somebody asked me this morning, what did I miss about Memphis? And I said, everything.
I asked that question on the train this morning, and we used it several times. And you said, anything you mentioned about Memphis that I missed that much.
Well, sir, I've been here for quite a while, about 14 or 15 years now. I pretty well know Memphis. I thought I did till I drove home.
John, if we get any more now, I'll have to start charging you.
Elvis had to feel to come all the way into the station on the train for the first time.
Huh?
How did it feel to come all the way to your destination on the train? You normally get over.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't. Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Escape and evasion, they call it in the Army. But, I don't know. I mean, I was hoping there'd be some, people there at the station. And I knew there'd be a lot of my friends there, personal friends. And I wanted to come into the station. I wouldn't have gotten off anywhere else, I mean, this time is different.
If we'd only known that yesterday.
How long do you think you'll be back in Memphis recuperating or getting adjusted back to civilian life?
I would say a couple of weeks. That's about all.
Thank you.
Okay, is that all? Everybody enough?
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello? One moment, please. Hi, Gardner calling.
Hello. I'm Marilyn, High Gardner's secretary. Tonight, as usual, the Herald Tribune syndicated columnist will be checking stories live and unrehearsed with names that make news. We'll talk with veteran band leader Ted Lewis, Egyptian dancer Nejla Ace, the unidentified author of a shocking book titled I Was a Dope Addict, and to get right into action immediately with the most controversial entertainer of the year, well, you'll hear who. Hi, I have Elvis Presley on the phone. Hello.
Hello?
Hello, Elvis. Just one moment.
Hello, Elvis.
Hello?
Did you have fun tonight on the Steve Allen show?
Yes, sir. I really did. I really enjoyed it.
First time you ever worked in tux or tails?
It's the first time I ever had one on, period.
You mean you've got, as they say, 4 Cadillacs, but no tuxedos?
No tuxedo. I usually drive the Cadillacs in blue jeans.
That's very interesting, particularly when a cop stops you and wants to know if you own the car, huh?
That's right. You have to show them all your ownership papers and everything.
You know, less than 2 years ago, you were earning $14 a week as a movie usher and then $35 a week for driving a truck in Memphis. Today, you're the most controversial name in show business. Has this sudden notoriety affected your sleep, your appetite, or the size of your head?
Not the size of my head. It's affected my sleep.
How much sleep do you get?
Oh, I average about 4 or 5 hours a night, I guess.
Is that enough?
No, it's really not, but I'm used to it, and I can't sleep any longer.
What do you keep in mind mostly? I mean, some of the songs you're going to do, or some of your plans, or what? What goes through your mind?
Well, everything has happened to me so fast in the last year and a half till I'm all mixed up, you know. I mean, I can't keep up with everything that's happening. And
well, I think that you've got very good company in Colonel Tom Parker. His feet are on the ground, and I think he's doing a wonderful job of keeping things rolling nicely. I want to give you an opportunity here to go over a lot of the rumors that have been printed about you, including a few that I printed myself, because some of these things can be checked and some can't, and I think that we ought to sort of fix up the record. Now, your style of gyrating while you sing has been bitterly criticized, even by usually mild and gentle TV critics like Ben Gross. Now, do you bear any animosity towards these critics?
well, not really. Those people have a job to do, and they do it.
And do you think you've learned anything from the criticism leveled at you?
No, I haven't.
You haven't, huh?
Because I don't feel that I'm doing anything wrong.
Do you read the stuff?
Do I read? You mean
the reviews?
Not if I can help it.
Do you keep the scrapbook at all?
Only of the good stuff.
Only on the good stuff. That's smart. Tell me, what kind of a teenager were you? Did you consider yourself well-behaved?
Yes. Well, I was raised, you know,
yeah,
in a pretty decent home and everything. My folks always made me behave whether I wanted to or not.
Well, how do they feel about your success and the things that some of the critics have said about you, both good and bad?
Well, I guess they're just like myself. They're very thankful for it. I mean, we always led a kind of a common life. We never had any luxuries, but we were never real hungry, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they're just, you know, they're real proud, just like I am.
Well, now, there were 2 or 3 columns this week that carried items that you had bought 4 Cadillacs. Now, what is that of that, Elvis? And what?
It's the truth. I do have 4 Cadillacs.
What do you do with 4 Caddies?
Well, I don't know. I haven't got any use for 4. I just, you know, maybe someday I'll go broke and I can sell a couple of them.
Well, some people collect stamps and government funds. I guess Cadillacs are probably in the same category. I understand you gave one of them to your folks. Is that right?
Well, anything that's mine is theirs. I mean, all 4 of them is theirs. I'm planning for 7. I mean, I want 7. You know.
You want 7, huh?
Yes.
Well, you know what's going to happen. You'll wind up outdoing Carey. It'll be the Presley Car Renting Corporation.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Presley used car lot, you know.
Yeah, I understand that you bought a home for your folks, and even though your father is only 39, you've insisted that he retire. Is that true?
Yes. Well, he's more help. I mean, he's more help at home than he is anywhere else because he can take care of all my business. He can, you know, he can look after things when I'm gone.
Well, I think that's very.
Would you say that again, sir?
Well, I say that when you shake and you quake when you sing, is that sort of an involuntary response to the hysteria of your audience?
Involuntary?
Yeah.
Well, I'm aware of everything I do at all times, but it's just the way I feel.
I mean, for example, if somebody is playing ball, they play just a little bit harder when the fans root, and I was wondering whether this had anything to do with
sure. Well, I guess any artist, if the audience acts like they're enjoying it, if they act like they're with you, well, it makes you put more into it, you know.
Do you think that your rocking and rolling has had an evil influence on teenagers, or you think it's just an outlet?
I don't see that any type of music would have any bad influence on people when it's only a music. I mean, I can't figure it out. I mean, in a lot of the papers, they say rock and roll is a big influence on juvenile delinquency. I don't think that it is. Juvenile delinquency is something that's, well, it's just I don't know how to explain it, but I don't see how music would have anything to do with it at all.
I understand that Mitch Miller of Columbia Records defines rock and roll as a safe form of rebellion against mother, father, and teacher. Do you go along with this analysis?
I don't exactly know what he means by rebellion. I mean, how would rock and roll music make anybody rebel against their parents?
Well, I guess that answers Mr. Miller. Now, I've got a couple of questions here I'd like to sort of clear up. One of them, and it's sort of a silly one to me, after having talked with you at some length earlier, what about the rumor that you once shot your mother?
Well, I think that one takes the cake. I mean, that's about the funniest one I've ever heard.
Where'd that one come from? Have you any idea?
I have no idea. I can't imagine. When you mentioned it to me, it's the first time I ever heard it.
Is that right?
First time I ever heard of it.
Well, there's another one, too, you may not have heard before. Several newspaper stories hinted that you smoked marijuana to hit the bottle in order to work yourself into a frenzy while singing. What about that?
I don't know.
You won't even bother answering that one. Well, here's a one very interesting. I don't know whether you noticed the column the other day. They predict that Elvis Presley will be another James Dean. Now, have you heard that?
I've heard something about it, but I would never compare myself in any way to James Dean because James Dean was a genius in acting.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'll say that I sure would like to. I mean, I guess there's a lot of actors in Hollywood that would like to have had the ability that James Dean had.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I would never compare myself with James Dean in any way. You know?
Now, if you had your choice, would you prefer to be an actor than to be a singing entertainer?
If I were a good actor, of course I'm not a good singer, but if I were a good actor, I think that I would like it a little better. Although, if I ever break into the acting completely, I'll still continue my singing. I'll still continue making records.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that's always a very, very good sideline. Well, it was just fine talking with you, and I hope that you'll enjoy a long career, whether it's acting or anything else. And I think that all of the things said about you, while they've been extremely critical, I think they have helped to make you the kind of a big name that has made it possible for you to do the things for your folks you always wanted to. So I sort of think I'd look at it that way, Elvis.
Well, sir, I tell you, you know, you got to accept the bad along with the good. I've been getting some very, very good publicity.
Mm-hmm.
The press has been real wonderful to me, and then I've been getting some bad publicity, but you got to expect that. And I know that, I mean, I'm doing the best I can, and I have never turned a reporter down. I never turned a disc jockey down because they're the people that help make this business.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as I know that I'm doing the best I can, that's...
No, you can't be expected to do any more. And I want to tell you, it's just been swell talking with you, and you make a lot of sense.
Thank you very much.
Give my best to the Colonel now.
Sure will.
Bye-bye.